Ooh, lots of updates today. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook. You know what we do? We read news from our city, from our state, and our country. We scan news sources every day, 3 times a day, actually. I go through a number of news sources to find interesting and important news that I can share with you. And I look forward to your comments when you share them with us so that we can combine all this information and nurture our life with positive experiences, hopefully connect with one another, connect with the city, with our culture and our way of life. It's a pleasure to see you. And today is June 1st. Another month is about to start. We are entering the end of our second quarter, so it's almost time to ask the question again. You're not a local until you've blanked, but I'm going to give it a couple of weeks before we go there. I have chosen to go there every few weeks or at least 3 or 4 times a year just to see what kind of new experiences and rite of passages we are coming up with that makes us feel and become more local day by day. Let's see. As always, if you have something important to share, it helps a great deal if you add a capital Q to your comment or question. We get to read those in the second half of the broadcast. And of course, as always, if you are new to the live broadcast and you would like to receive a nice little friendly welcome from us, just write the word new in your comment and we'll be happy to go there. I see a couple of reports for gray day. And yes, it is gray out there. I think it's going to start raining any minute now, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Ed is asking, is it choppy for anyone else this morning or is it just my connection? I hope things are okay. But if you have any problems with the broadcast, do let me know. I don't think there's anything strange or unusual going on at my end. So let us get started with the news. We have updates from Governor Alfaro. We have updates about some of the news items that we shared yesterday concerning the new registration of public transportation vehicles and also more details for tobacco smokers out there. And I want to tell you about my day because a lot of things happened yesterday and many of them have something to do with information that you would want to know about, or at least so I think. Let's go. Okay, so we've been reading a lot lately about the fact that Jalisco or COVID may be coming back to, COVID may be coming back to Jalisco or the country and so forth and so on. Governor Alfaro took to his Facebook page yesterday to clarify the current COVID-related status in our state, given these articles that we've been mentioning in the past few days. And here is the takeaway. Alfaro referred to the median median average of COVID cases per 100,000 inhabitants. The national average of number of cases per 100,000 inhabitants in Mexico right now in the entire country is 12.5%. That is the average. In Jalisco, that average is only 7.8%. So we are under the national average. In addition, there are only 13 COVID-related hospitalizations in the entire public health system in the state, and no COVID patients in private hospitals. That's what Governor Alfaro said. Of course, I'm not working at a hospital, so if the governor says that's the case, I'm going to believe that's the case. In comparison, he did mention that while we may only have 7.8% cases per every 100,000 inhabitants in our state, right now, Mexico City has 56. That's a lot more than we have. In Baja California Sur, has 97.8. Ouch, that's a lot more COVID going on in Los Cabos and the rest of Baja California Sur than here. So our governor was quick to remind us that the pandemic is not over, but at the same time, the current numbers in the state of Jalisco are not a reason for concern as long as we continue to exercise common sense in our face mask use and close contact choices. Moving right along, are you sure you don't want a job in the tourism industry? The search continues to fill over 4,000 jobs available in the city, primarily in hotels and restaurants. The article that I'm quoting here, or that I'm referencing, ends with a probing question. Could it be that the salaries are not up to par? Or perhaps locals simply do not wish to work in the tourism industry anymore? Well, I don't have an answer to either one of those, but I do have some context that I'd like to throw into the mix. Based on another article that I read elsewhere a few days ago, one of the big challenges for the tourism industry in Puerto Vallarta moving forward is the development of suitable housing for employees. Because what's happening in Puerto Vallarta, and I'm sure you've seen this, is that tourism areas are becoming increasingly expensive for locals to live in. So, who wants to work in a hotel when a huge percentage of your rent would go into, of your income would go into paying rent and paying higher prices for products because you want to live close to where the job is? So I think this is a side or a factor that the article is not taking into account. And I can imagine that, nobody would want to go work at a hotel if, they're going to end up spending so much money in rent and so forth and so on. But hopefully these issues will be addressed in the future. Now, I frequently read of people stealing cable and other things from public and private installations. And, I am so ignorant about those things. And I always ask myself, why would people steal cable or other things? What do they do with them? Where do they sell it? Of course, I must remind myself of the crazy things I've seen for sale at the Saturday Tianguis on the Libramiento, for example. But in case you've driven down the Libramiento during the evening in recent days and were wondering why one of the tunnels was pitch dark, it is because someone went in there and stole the cabling that provides electricity to the tunnel. How crazy is that? Hopefully, the city will have addressed this by the time we are sharing the information. But if you happen to drive late at night in the Libramiento, just be careful. Just be careful and know that if it's pitch dark, it's because some butthead chose to steal the cabling necessary to turn the lights on. How crazy is that? We have updated follow-up information on the upcoming Uber and Didi vehicle registration that is coming to Puerto Vallarta. For starters, in this other article, we learned that there are 3,403 transportation units in the city presently registered. 333 are city buses, 1,331 are platform drivers, either Uber or Didi, and 1,739 are yellow taxis. And these, of course, represent the majority at 57%. Now, it's a matter of confirming registration of these and any other units to ensure not only that they are in operation, but that they are also working up to code or up to whatever standards the Jalisco transportation system requires. And apparently all of this will happen during the month of June. There are specific dates in this article in which if you're a cab driver, you need to go and register your vehicle and update your information. And all the vehicles will receive a new sticker for their vehicle. And of course, the QR code we've been mentioning a couple of times in the past few days. I also have an update about the new tobacco laws, the presidential decree that pretends to reform the general tobacco control law in Mexico. And this makes me happy that I'm not a cigarette smoker and that whatever I smoke in the privacy of my own home, and it's not cigarettes. The new decree will forbid any type of publicity, of promotion, of products related to tobacco in social media and streaming platforms. And you can also expect that you will no longer be able to smoke in patios, terraces, or balconies open to the public, nor will you be able to smoke in amusement parks, sports parks, beaches, stadiums, markets, bus stops, and any place where minors are present. How is this going to be enforced? I have no idea, but I am grateful that I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. Cigarettes are a major cause of cancer here in our country. I used to be a 2.5 pack a day kind of guy many years ago, and I wish the best for those of you that continue to smoke cigarettes. Now let's turn to our weather and then continue with some other headlines. Today is the perfect day to declare that you are finally going to start that novel you've been meaning to write. Well, not me. I'm not writing any novels, but I can tell you that right now we're enjoying 26 degrees, feels like 28. Oh, humidity is at 80%. Ceiling fans, come on, give us some fresh air. And Fahrenheit degrees, right now we are enjoying 78 degrees. Our weather forecast for today: humid and partly cloudy. We might as well say it's going to be humid and partly cloudy until October. But maybe we will get lucky a few days here and there. Today, humid and partly cloudy, high of 29, low of 22. Tomorrow, Thursday, humid and partly cloudy with a high of 29 and a low of 22. And on Friday, it'll be humid and mostly cloudy through the day with a high of 29 and a low of 21. No chance of rain just yet, according to the weather forecast. And now I want to get snarky. Well, I don't want to get snarky, but I don't want to spend much time on this. Now that the Vehicle Verification Center is back in operation, how about another march to protest against it? It's happening tomorrow. Enough said. Given a choice between talking about that, I'd rather talk about my day yesterday because a lot of fun things happened and some of them apply to you. I started my day by walking the streets of Versalles to head to the bus terminal that handles the buses that go towards San Sebastián and Talpa and Mascota and so forth and so on, because I wanted to start getting excited about this potential trip to Talpa de Allende that I want to do sometime in the month of June. As I mentioned, I wanted to go to Talpa. I mentioned Talpa. You expressed some curiosity. And for starters, I might say, because I know that Mijal is watching, Mijal, walking the streets of Versalles without your company is not the same. I miss you, dear friend. I got to the bus terminal and I found out that the The bus takes longer than I anticipated. The bus is not expensive. It's like 250, 260 pesos each way. But the bus takes 4 hours to get from Puerto Vallarta to Talpa. That's a lot of time to be sitting on a bus that is not very comfortable. And of course, if we take the 9 o'clock in the morning bus, by the time we get there, it's gonna be it's gonna be 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and by the time the afternoon has gone by, it's time to come back to Puerto Vallarta. So I'm still hoping to find a way to get to Talpa, but it's probably not going to be the public bus. I'm doing some research. I also found out, and part of my research includes finding out that Vallarta Adventures offers a day trip to Talpa, but I'm sure that's probably not very affordable. So I'm not going to go there. But I thought I'd keep you posted with that. Then I went to wait for the bus because I was going to go into town, and surprise, I got an air conditioned bus, and I posted a photograph from it, and some of your answers, some of your comments just totally made my day. I wrote an air conditioned bus score, and Joe commented, "Let's count air conditioned buses." One, and scene. And just like that, there were a couple of um, really funny comments. My original intention was to take the bus into Cinco de Diciembre because a friend of mine commented on a private Facebook chat that I have with my close friends that he wanted to find avena, luna. How do you say avena in English? It's the Quaker oats. Oh, oats. He wanted to find oats, um, but in bulk, and not the fast cooking, but the regular oats. And one of the comments, or several comments, pointed to a store in Cinco de Diciembre called La Semilla, which I've been to before, but not in a long time. And I figured, well, if my friend wants to learn more about La Semilla, why don't I go and do a quick walk around at La Semilla just so that I can share that with everybody. And then we started talking about the critters, the little bugs that you frequently find in grains when you buy grains by the bulk. And I learned from a dear friend that what she does is she puts her grain in the freezer for a couple of days so that the bugs will die. And I never thought about doing that all my life. Well, not all my life, but one of my issues with buying rice and some grains is that you're running to these little bugs. Then another one of my friends commented, well, it's the new protein. So I'm just curious whether you have found these little critters in bags of rice and beans, and what do you do with them? Do you eat them? What's your solution to deal with them? But here's the thing. I was in an air-conditioned bus, and because my final destination was Colonia Emiliano Zapata, Tommy, if you're watching, I'm sorry. A cool bus ride was too much to not enjoy, so I did not stop at Cinco de Diciembre at La Semilla. But hey, if anybody has any comments about La Semilla, or anybody has any tips on how to kill the little bugs that plague our grains, I'd love to read them here. Let's see. After that, I picked up a very, very precious and special, unexpected gift from a dear friend in Colonia Emiliano Zapata, but it was a bulky gift, and this prevented me from doing what I wanted to do, which is to take photos and videos around town because I was carrying this unexpected gift. And then, because I had not had breakfast, it was already like 2:30 in the afternoon. I was starving, so I ended up having lunch with at not with, but I ended up having lunch at Whiskey Kitchen around the corner from my house. And then I ran into Gina, who told me that she's getting more live music going on. It's happening on Thursday night, I believe. And then she's also doing a special brunch on Saturday. That'll be some kind of fundraising brunch for Bobby, as in Bobby and the others. She's going to be performing on Saturday. I think that she's raising money to go tour somewhere. So what I'm hoping is that Gina will update her Facebook page with all this information, or maybe create some Facebook events so that I can share them with you. But that's something that you may want to consider. Also, Gina, I might say, she moved the couch that was in the back area to the inside because it's going to start raining soon. She didn't want the couch to get wet, and of course, it makes for a really comfortable place to sit. I spent more time than I anticipated at the restaurant because I had my portable yarn project with me. So I sat around and did a lot of crocheting. And that was my day yesterday, in case you were wondering. And before I turn over to your comments, I want to show you something truly, truly wonderful. I've been in touch with our friend Jill, who, as we know, along with her partner, has just adopted a Ukrainian family to come live with them in Canada. And she shared a few, whoops, I'm blocking Papa's face. I don't mean to do that. She shared a few photos and a little bit of a backstory in anticipation of the interview that I'm going to do with her sometime in the near future, because you expressed interest in this amazing adventure of adopting a Ukrainian family to come live with them in Canada. My heart is just like glowing with, and I get all goosebumpy learning that this is happening. So I am giving Jill a couple of days so that she can get settled with her new family. And hopefully we will schedule a live interview sometime in the near future. But I asked for permission to share this beautiful photograph, and I am so proud to share it with you. Not proud as in it's not my pride, but I'm just so grateful to be connected with someone that not only has the resources to do something this beautiful, but also has the big heart that is necessary to do that. So now, your comments. I can't wait. Let's see what we have. Lots of good mornings, as always, and we love those. Yes, a great day in Conchas Chinas. Thank you very much for that, Raymond. You make my day sunny with your puns. Let's see what else. Did somebody say happy Thursday? I believe so. But it's Wednesday all day long. Let's see. Da, da, dee, da, 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 da. Oh, Albert lost a day. I've been there. Another great day, Conchas Chinas reporter. It's great to read you, Kathy. Thank you very much for chiming in. Let's see what else we have. Uh-oh, Alan has a trip to Los Cabos planned in October. I would crochet you a bodysuit, but I don't think it will protect you much from COVID. You know what you have to do, Alan. I'm sure you're going to be fine. Angelica comments on the salary business. The salaries are low and they are long hours and cheap housing. Well, that's a bigger discussion, I think. I think the cost of life versus salaries is something that requires a major analysis. And hopefully, hotels and restaurants are paying attention. Let's see what else. People not wanting to return to their low-paying jobs is the same phenomenon that is happening in the United States in COVID. Somehow, I'm not surprised. Thank you for that perspective, Dave. Oh my God, this has nothing to do with much, but if Jeff is eating coconut shrimp, that's just making me hungry. Patty says, really, stealing cable? It happens. It happens. And we don't necessarily talk a lot about this kind of news here in Coffee and Headlines. This time I mentioned it because this particular cable stealing affair can create a potentially dangerous situation for anyone driving down the Libramiento tunnels. But for example, when COVID got started, Patty, the amount of theft that went on in local public schools that, of course, were closed because nobody was going to school is just incredible. Da, da, da. Oh, interesting. Copper wire theft is the number one career for loser meth heads. See, you learn something new every single day. More comments about copper being valuable. There you go. Jim asks, is it 420 yet? Well, not here at Coffee and Headlines headquarters. If I start doing any kind of 420 related stuff early in the day, then my crochet projects turn out a little, lopsided. Let's see what else we have. Congrats for quitting smoking. It's really funny, Margaret, because every now and then, and I say maybe once every year, every 2 years, a good conversation will trigger the urge to light a cigarette, and I will light a cigarette and take a couple of puffs only to remember how much I dislike the experience. So I do have to have a reminder from time to time, but it doesn't happen very frequently, and thank goodness I don't have the habit. I love day counters. We arrive in Puerto Vallarta in 26 days. Count away, Luisa. We love the counters. We really, really do. Paula says that some airlines just opened their 2023 calendars. Again, great opportunities to find good deals. What did I have for lunch yesterday? I had an amazing burger, the way that only Gina Hendricks can come up with. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm going back to Whiskey Kitchen tonight because one of the improvements or innovations that Gina has introduced is boozy frappes. And I am a sucker for a cold beverage and something sweet and something boozy. So I will stop by Whiskey Kitchen sometime this evening to explore her new boozy frappes. And I will ask for a double because I can. Let's see. Daniela comments that there are some vans that take you to Mascota and Talpa. Thank you very much for that, Daniela. I actually am in the process of getting a quote from my taxi driver of choice. This is the nice gentleman that I've recommended a couple of times that took us, a bunch of friends, to Cajon de Peña, and then he took us elsewhere. I don't remember where. Harold is correct. Take the ATM bus to Talpa and spend the night there. That's something else that I'm thinking about. But still, I don't know that I want to spend 4 hours on the bus unless the bus is really, really comfortable, like an ETN bus. The ATM bus is not as comfortable. And you know what? I don't even know if they have lavatories. And I have to go. I don't know that I can sit in a bus for like that long without going number one. Dave says that it's almost 8 hours of driving. Somehow my recollection is different. Either that, Dave, or I am a fast driver. It takes me some 70 minutes to get to La Estancia, which is where you take the detour to Talpa, to San Sebastián del Oeste. From La Estancia to Mascota is probably another 30 minutes, and then from Mascota to Talpa de Allende is another 30 minutes. So that would mean 2 hours and 10 minutes in my own experience. Of course, this is not counting that there's traffic or something like that, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to do an early morning start and have a nice experience there. Comments about critters. We found critters not in food, but small wooden figure we purchased many years ago. Decided that freezing would take care of the problem, which it did. Bulky gift. How much wheat counts as bulk? I'm happy to say, Jim, it was not weed that was gifted to me. It was a beautiful watercolor, and the reason I'm not sharing it is because it needs a place on one of my walls, and as soon as I find a good spot for this beautiful watercolor, I will share it with the cluster. Jim comments, less than 3 hours to Talpa. That is my recollection. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Brian. Brian just watched the Guadalajara special. I am so glad you enjoyed it. Can't wait to go now. And the Yarn and Crochet Alley. As an update, and this happened literally while I was prepping for this morning breakfast. Remember that town near Guadalajara that has that beautiful crochet canopy covering a lot of their public areas? They're actually going to do a special crochet workshop in Guadalajara late June and have invited me to go and attend and learn how to make the pattern that they use so that I can also be a contributor to their project. And I am just giddy with that possibility, waiting to find out more specifics about that. Let's see. La 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 la. La 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 la. Stick to horrible conversations to avoid the urge to smoke. No, no, no. No, we like beautiful, wonderful, thought-provoking conversations. There's a cue. Oh, finally, a cue. I love it. Curious to know, which method did you use to quit the cigarettes? Oh, my God. Okay, so I was dating someone and I stopped dating that person, and we both used to be chain smokers. And at the time, I was so angry about the breakup that anything that person did, I would not do anymore. So that person smoked, and I said, fuck this, I'm not smoking again. And that was my incentive, and that's how I quit. Ironically, that person has become a dear, dear, dear friend of mine, and he shows up at Coffee and Headlines from time to time. And that's how I quit smoking. And I'm talking about, I must have been like 22, 23 years of age. Let's see. What else? What else? Oh, I think we're done. I think we're done. Yay! We've gotten to the end of your comments. So, as always, thank you very much for joining me during this half an hour-ish of news and headlines and stories. As always, your input as to how we steer our content is so appreciated. I'm always happy to provide as much information as we can. Oh, here we go. Do you mind sharing the cost of the ETN bus to Guadalajara? I know it changes as to when you book and time of year. I have no problem sharing that because it's publicly accessible information. All you have to do is go onto the website. It fluctuates between 550 to 750 depending on the time of year. But as I mentioned in the special, you save some pesos if you buy online, and you save some pesos if you buy the round trip. So there you have it. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a good one.